Okay, so in here we want to see how to upload files to send images specifically to our through our chat message here. So if I click here and try to load a message, you see that nothing happens. So let's change that a little bit. So we're going to change that in the api.php because that's where this lower section here is contained. So that's api.php. And we're looking for the file input, which is this one. So let me change the colors here a little bit. Preference, color scheme. Yeah, I like that one better. Okay, and remove the word wrap. There we go. So file, that's the one we're looking for right there. So let's add an on-click listener so that we can see when there's a change in here, when a new file is added. So we're going to say on change is equal to single quotes there, and we're going to send this to a function called upload, or let's say send image, like so. And let's put, actually instead of putting events, let's use this dot files so that it can send us the actual files that are contained in here. Okay, so let me save that. And so we're going to copy the name of this function and then go to index.php, and then at the very bottom, so where there are these, let's just actually go to the very end and create a function here. So function, just like that. And now instead of this, we can remove the this, because this refers to the control. So what this does is there's a property on this files input called files. Okay, so for example, if I wanted to send my ID, the ID of this control, I would say this dot ID, right? But there's a property called files which contains the actual files that have been loaded. So that's why I'm saying this dot files. So it's going to send those through here. That's why we're going to be able to collect the files using this variable right there. So at the moment, what I want to do is say alert, just to show us something happens. So let it show us files, because files is going to be an array. So let's say files 0 dot, so we don't want to see the actual file, we just want to see the name of the file. So we're going to say files 0, the first file, dot name. Okay, so let's see how that works. So we have to refresh since we are dealing with the index.php page, and let me open this one. And as you can see, there's the file name there, .jpg, so which means everything is working fine. Okay, so now all we need to do is actually send the file over. Now if you remember, we have a way to upload images already. When we go to settings, for example, here we are able to change the image there. Oops, like I had said, when this thing refreshes, the styles are actually altered. So we are going to handle that in the very final stages. Don't worry about it for now. So now here we can change our image. So we already have this function that we need. So let me go back to chats.php and chat with this one. Okay, there we go. So let's go back to this point here and see what we can do. So there's a way we uploaded a file last time, the upload profile image. That's the one right there. So what I want to do is, instead of tinkering with this one, I'm just going to copy the contents of this one. I don't think we need any of this button stuff. So let's start from here and copy everything up to the end to avoid typing them again. And then before we paste, let's create a loop, because there could be multiple files that the user wants us to upload. So I'm just going to say, so this is up to you here. If you don't want to upload multiple files or just send one file at a time, so maybe that's what we should do. Let's just make it so we can send just one file at a time. So I'm going to say var my file, or just file is equal to files 0, so just the first one. But if you want to have it sent all the files one at a time, you're going to create a for loop like this and say for, and then in here file is going to be equal to this. So here you replace things with files, with that word there, files, and then you equate this. Instead of files 0, you say files I, you put it in there. So that's how it's going to loop and send all the files that you have tried to upload. But for our purposes, we're just going to upload one file at a time. So let me just paste the code right here. Okay, so file is equal to the first file, then we create a form, and then we create the XML HTTP request, and then we listen in to the result right here. So once the result is received, get data user info, we are going to ignore all this here, remove that. Let's just get a response for now. And files 0, actually it's already doing that for us, the files 0, so we don't actually need this. Let me remove that. It's already getting the file there, and now we're going to change the data type. Instead of change profile image, this is going to be send underscore image, like that, and we're going to send it similarly to the uploader.php file right there. So let me save this, and we're going to get a response right there. Send files. Great. So far so good. Now let's go to the uploader.php and see what's going on. So at this point, a file will be uploaded to the to this folder right here of uploads. Your image was uploaded. That will be the image, the message that is sent back. And at this point here, change profile image. Yeah, so this is the part that we're looking for. So when the data type is change profile image, we'll go here, but we want to add an else statement here and repeat this. Copy that, put it here, paste. Okay, so else if instead of change, we want to do the send image, because that's what we've set it to. Where is that? There we go, send image. So when it's send image, we come here. So what we know is that the destination is what contains the file, where the final file was sent. But what we want to do instead is to create a message. So in here, we are going to go to the includes folder and see there's one here that says send message. So we want to copy that and see what it actually does to send this said image. So this is the section right here. Oh, is it? Right, insert into messages. All right, so this is the part that creates a message right here. So I'm going to copy that part, come to uploader.php, and I'm going to replace all the code in here with that, like so. Okay, so object find message, that's the message. The only thing we have to change is we don't want to put a message here. It's going to be an empty message, so we will put quotes there instead. Everything else I think still stands. And there's get random string max, which is a function that only can be found in here, because for some reason we didn't put it in one of those classes, but we can just copy it and put it as well in uploader.php at the very end. That way the function can run here as well. Okay, so let's see if we need to change anything. So we create an empty message, set the date, the sender, obviously the current signed up user, and then there's a message ID created randomly, and then we'll check if there's an order message in here. If we do find one, we're going to get the message ID and use that instead. And then finally we're going to insert into messages exactly this. The only thing is we have to actually save a file. So that column is called files, because we thought we were going to be uploading many files into one message, but I think for now to just be one file. So here I'm going to say file like so, full colon file, and I need to add that to this list right there. So I'm going to duplicate here and say file, and then here I will put destination, because that's where the destination actually is. Then we use that array for our query. Okay, so far it seems good. So if we come back to the index.php here, once we receive our message, we might want to refresh the page so that we display the actual message. So we already have functions that do that. We just need to copy the same data. So like for example here, delete thread, right? So after we delete a thread here, we actually read from it, chats refresh. So there we go. So I'm going to copy that part and do the same here. So once we add an image, we read from the database. So right here, we will read. Save that. Once we get the alert, and we're going to read. Very good. So what we could do is send the result to, as we normally do, to handle result. Where is that? Well, this page has grown quite large. So this is the one right here. So we can have chats refresh, or send message, or send image right here. So we could try that and say, don't forget to add the break, and we're going to say if it is send image, and we're just going to get the resulting message. Okay, great. So let's come back down here. So for now, we won't send this to handle result. We are simply going to echo out whatever it is that we get. Okay, so let's give it a test run here. Here we go. And let me try one of these. And send one image. Okay, so we have errors. Your image was uploaded, so the image was actually uploaded, but then there's a warning here which says on line 70 an undefined index user ID. Okay, so let's go to line 70 and see what is going on. So uploaded.php line 70 right there. So it's saying we don't have this user ID. So let's go to send image, since this is where we copied that code from, and let's backtrack a little bit to see where we're actually getting this user ID. So let's do a search for previous. Okay, and there we go. So it's coming from here. Okay, so we need to copy this part as well. Copy that. Let me come here, paste that. There we go. Now remember one thing here, we are getting this user ID from find user ID. Now usually this comes from let me go back here. This comes from here when we say get data and then we add some items in there. Those items are found inside this section, find. But because the way we are sending this is different, the data type is being sent as part of the form, so we will need to get this from post like this, right? User ID like that. So we could sanitize this data and just say add slashes, because of course you should never trust input from the user. All right, so there we go. So that, okay, so here we are checking for the wrong thing as well, so let me just copy that. If is set, let me paste that. Okay, great. I think that sorts out our problem. So let's try again. Okay, so we see no error here. Your message was uploaded, everything seems fine, and then we refresh the page. But why are we not seeing anything here? So let's go to our messages right away. Messages table, and of course, so the image was uploaded. There's the link there and everything, except we don't have a receiver. The receiver is 0. So let us check what is going on. So where are we putting the receiver here? Receiver, and what is this? User ID, right? So user ID here does not exist. Oh, there it is, user ID, post user ID. So let me come back here and see what we are sending this as. Oh, so we are not actually sending the user ID, so we should append that. So in index.php append user ID, and of course here we know the user ID is the current chat user. That's the person we're talking to, like so. Okay, so fingers crossed that should solve the problem. Let me delete that last one so we can have a clean start. Oh, I have to refresh this. Go back here, click browse image. Your image was uploaded, and there we go, but we can't see the image here. The encouraging thing is that I can see an empty message there, so that's good. But also let me come here, and instead I should say handle result here, so that we go to the handle result section, and I think that probably it does it. What else are we supposed to supply in handle result? Okay, to find that out, let me just do a search. And there's a type there. Handle result, type. Okay. Let me go to the actual function and see. I've forgotten how. Oh, so I have to provide the type. Okay, so great. Let's come back down here. So handle result type is send message, send image. Actually, there we go. That's the type right there. Okay, so this is good. The only thing is now we need to display the message. So if we go to our messages table, we're going to see that everything now is fine. There is an empty message. The recipient is correct. The sender is correct. There's an uploaded file. There's a date and the usual stuff. So this looks fine. So now let me go to api.php, because this is where the display of these items is. And right now I'm looking at the right side of the screen, so we're going to go to message write. That's the function right there. So we know that an image is contained in here in the column name files. So let's do Where do I put this? Right where the message is supposed to be, right there. So I'm just going to duplicate the message area here and replace that with files like that. And then I'm going to put this inside an image tag like so, a single quote like that, and close it. Let me add a simple style here. I'm going to say width 100%, like that. Oh, and you can see it's already refreshed, so let's wait for it to refresh again. Okay, now the thing is, the message holder here doesn't stretch with the image. Whatever is the issue there? I think the issue is our CSS in the index page. So let me go back to our CSS. So there's message right, and it has a hard height there. So let's remove that height, that fixed height. Let's do the same for message left. Remove the fixed height, and let's see what that would do. Let's wait for it to reload. Oh, it's the index page, so it's not going to work just by reloading. Okay, there we go. So at least we have this thing covering the message right there. We could make the image much smaller or much larger, depending on what you want. And actually, that does it. So let's try and upload a new image as well. Your image was uploaded. Thank you very much. And there we go. So that's the image right there. Now it's not scrolling down. I don't know why that is. So let me come down here to message refresh. Let me find handle result first. Let's go here, handle result. Boom. Now we're looking for that section that tells it to scroll, and this is the one right here. So this only happens in send message and chats, but it should also happen in chats refresh. So let's copy this set timeout thingy here and go right before the break and paste it there. Great. So refresh the page. Boom. And now I want to add one more image. There we go. Thank you very much. And there we go. So we see the image right there. Okay, so that's how you send images to your friends here. Okay.